Today on Rappler, the Philippines may file a diplomatic protest against China over new maps that claim disputed territory in the South China Sea. The Commission on Elections foils a security breach in its warehouse that could have jeopardized the elections. And despite the economic boom, more Filipino families say they are poor. Hello, I'm Maria Ressa. Welcome to Rappler, your social news network. The Philippines Department of Foreign Affairs is considering filing a formal protest before China over new maps that claim disputed islands in the South China Sea as part of Chinese territory. On January 11th, Xinhua News Agency reports that China's National Administration of Surveying, Mapping, and Geoinformation publishes a new national maps that include, for the first time, 130 island and islets in the disputed South China Sea. Beijing is claiming a wide swath of the South China Sea, rivaling claims by the Philippines, Vietnam, Brunei, and Malaysia. DFA spokesperson Raul Hernandez says they still need to verify the details of the map. He adds it's important for the international community to accept the new map. In 2012, the DFA filed 15 diplomatic protests over China's claims to the disputed Scarborough Shoal. The Commission on Elections says it caught an unnamed group breaching security at a storage facility that houses its ballot reading machines. On Monday, COMELEC Chair Sixto Brillantes says the poll body may file charges against individuals for tampering with a conveyor at a COMELEC warehouse in Cabuyao, Laguna, which houses the Precinct Court Optical Scan or PICOS machines. Brillantes refuses to give details of the breach, but adds security will be increased at the site. January 13 marks the official start of the election period, which lasts a month after the May 13, 2013 national elections. It also marks the start of restrictions to promote a fair electoral playing field. Beginning January 13th, COMELEC bans the transfer of civil servants, carrying or transporting firearms and other deadly weapons, and the suspension of elected officials. Other bans are set to take effect as the election day draws closer. For a full list of prohibited acts during this election period, visit Rappler.com. The gun ban for the 2013 election started Sunday, January 13th. Well, some say it's a welcome development after indiscriminate gun firing in the new year and firearm-related violence. Walter Tupas reports.
Thank you very much. Ingat po kayo.
This COMELEC inspection on the eve of the gun ban is a far cry from the controversial checkpoint in Atimonan, Quezon. That January 6th inspection ended in the death of 13 suspected criminals. On camera, they are courteous as they block cars, look into vehicles, and look for weapons, all in about 10 seconds. COMELEC spokesman James Jimenez says police should be respectful.
You need to say unless they see something in plain view, they're not going to be able to ask for anything more than an inspection.
Based on the guidelines of the COMELEC, a signboard measuring 4 by 3 feet with a white background identifies a checkpoint. The area should be well lit and manned by a police officer or a soldier with the rank of at least inspector or lieutenant. They should not be under the influence of drugs or alcohol at any time. The Constitution forbids unreasonable searches, but at checkpoints, officers make the judgment call based on their instincts and a probable cause.
Makikita nyo naman po yung sitwasyon kung yung isang sasakyan o isang bagay na inyong isa-search ay kailangan i-search po.
In the last elections, at least 2,742 firearms were confiscated and about 3,000 persons were arrested. The 2013 elections in the Philippines can be potentially violent in at least 15 hotspots. The hotspots have one thing in common: private armed groups.
If you don't get a PTC, then you don't have a gun with you. If you don't have a gun with you, you can't lose your temper and hurt somebody.
Amid growing calls for stricter gun restrictions, authorities are now confronted with two challenges: ensuring peace and order during the election period while protecting civil liberties. Walter Tupas, Rappler, Manila.
The chief of the Philippine National Police returns a police report on the alleged shootout in Quezon Province for being, quote, poorly organized. PNP Director General Alan Purisima returns the report, citing problems with its format. He asks the report be rewritten so it's easily understood even by those without any investigative background. Purisima, however, refuses to talk about the findings of the report, nor respond to details reportedly leaked to the Philippine Star that the alleged shootout was actually an ambush. The PNP chief says the NBI will release the official findings, adding he doesn't want to hear claims of a PNP whitewash over the case. A group calling itself Anonymous Philippines hacks government websites a day before the Supreme Court hears oral arguments against the Cybercrime Prevention Act. On Monday morning, the front pages of the National Food Authority and several other government websites are hacked and replaced with a message from a group calling itself Anonymous Philippines, apparently in protest of the Cybercrime Prevention Act. The anti-cybercrime law passed last year drew strong criticism for its the cybercrime law, which was passed last year, drew strong criticism for its controversial provisions that impose stiff penalties to vague violations and gives the state sweeping powers to monitor and control online data. On Tuesday, the Supreme Court will hear oral arguments from petitioners who want to stop the law. A Supreme Court issued temporary restraining order on the cybercrime law expires on February 6. Malacanang admits the security of some government websites is weak. Presidential spokesperson Edwin Lacerda says the National Bureau of Investigation has leads on the hackers. Despite the country's strong economic performance in 2012, more Filipino families consider themselves poor. Results of the latest social weather station survey conducted from December 8 to 11, 2012 found that 54% of respondents, or 10.9 million households, felt they were poor. This is 7 percentage points higher than the 47% in August. Self-rated food poverty also spikes to 44% from 35% in August. Mindanao respondents still top self-rated food poverty in the country. The SWS says natural calamities in the latter part of 2012 could have heightened perceptions of being poor. The outgoing head of the country's disaster management agency introduces his successor to the public, but learns his own resignation had not yet been accepted by President Aquino. On Monday, Undersecretary Bonito Ramos, the executive director of the National Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Council, or NDRRMC, holds a press conference to introduce retired Army General Eduardo del Rosario as his successor. But Ramos suspends the press conference after learning that the president had not approved his resignation yet. Ramos, a retired military general, wants to resign to take care, he says, of his sick wife. The death of prominent internet activist Aaron Schwartz on Friday sparks grief and anger from online rights advocates. Schwartz hanged himself in his New York apartment months before he was due to stand trial for allegedly hacking into servers of the Massachusetts Institute of Technology. He downloaded millions of academic journal articles from the subscription-only JSTOR service. He was 26. Schwartz had written openly about suffering from depression, but his family suggests the trial contributed to his suicide. In a statement, the family says Schwartz's death is, quote, the product of a criminal justice system rife with intimidation and prosecutorial overreach. After news of his death spread, friends and supporters post tributes thanking the internet activist. World Wide Web inventor Tim Berners-Lee tweets, Aaron dead, world wanderers, we have lost a wise elder. Hackers for right, we are one down. Fiona Bateson writes, all of us who value freedom of expression owe him a huge debt of gratitude. Well, let's now look at Rappler's Wrap for today, a list of the 10 most important events around the world you shouldn't miss. At number 3, 7 men are arrested by police after they allegedly gang raped a 29-year-old woman on a bus in the northern part of India Friday. This is the second incident of sexual assault just weeks after a 23-year-old medical student died from injuries inflicted by her attackers. The bus driver and conductor reportedly refused to stop when she asked them to, and instead took her to a place close to the city of Amritsar. The two were allegedly joined by 5 others who took turns raping the woman. She was dropped off near her village the next morning. The first incident sparked protests, which prompted the government to set up special courts to deal with rape cases and to strengthen sexual assault laws. At number 6, An appeals court overturns the life sentence of former Egyptian President Hosni Mubarak on Sunday. Mubarak was sentenced to life in 2012 for directing the killing of more than 800 protesters who wanted an end to his 3-decade rule. The judge who gave the verdict said he saw no evidence of Mubarak personally ordering the killings. His lawyer says ordering a new trial for the same crimes is tantamount to double jeopardy. The ruling by the appeals court could prolong the legal battle over the fate of the 84-year-old Mubarak, who's held in a military hospital for health reasons. At number 9, the world's biggest religious festival, Kumbh Mela, opens Monday with hundreds of pilgrims flocking to the sacred river Ganges. Taking place only once every 12 years, more than 100 million people are expected to visit the city of Allahabad for the 55-day festival. Hindus believe that taking a dip in the river will cleanse them of sin and help them achieve salvation. The festival prompts health concerns because the rivers are heavily polluted and many pilgrims drink a few drops of its water. And at number 10, the Philippines makes it to the New York Times list of 46 places to see in 2013. Landing at number 17, the country secures its spot through local luxury hotels and resorts, particularly in Siargao Island, a popular surfing destination. The Times also mentions the private island resort of El Nido in Palawan. Topping the Times list is Rio de Janeiro in Brazil, which is preparing for the 2014 World Cup and 2016 Summer Olympics. The Philippines also gets the Best Tourist Destination Award from China's Oriental Morning Post, following poll results that showed it's still a popular destination among the Chinese. The award comes 2 years after the tragic Manila hostage crisis. For the full top 10, visit Rappler.com's The Wrap. Ben Affleck's Argo and the musical Les Miserables get big wins during the 70th Golden Globes Awards. After the Oscar snubs him for the Best Director nominations, Ben Affleck wins the Golden Globe Best Director award for his Iran hostage crisis thriller Argo, beating rivals including Steven Spielberg, nominated for Lincoln. Spy thriller Homeland takes 3 awards, while comedy drama show Girls wins 2 awards on the night of its 2nd season premiere. Anne Hathaway and Hugh Jackman win awards for their roles in musical adaptation Les Miserables. The film, based on the musical by Alain Boublil and Claude Michel Schoenberg, also wins the award for Best Comedy or Musical. Every story on Rappler has a mood meter which gives you 8 emotions to choose from. Click how you feel and your vote comes down to the mood navigator in the middle of the front page. That crowdsources the mood of the day. It also gives you the top 10 stories that have gotten the most votes on the mood meter. If you take a look today at the 10 stories that are on the front page, well, we'll take a look. Today, the PSEI hits the 7th all-time high in 2013. Take a look, 5% afraid, perhaps asking, are the stocks overvalued? 10% inspired, 76% happy. The story that's gotten the most number of votes on the mood meter is our show, Tech Wrap, the best of CES 2013. 2% inspired, 93% happy. That is leading to the mood of the day. Today, most people are happy. That's Rappler's Newscast for today, Monday, January 14th, 2013. Visit Rappler.com and watch our newscast Monday to Friday. Tell us how you feel on our mood meter and help us crowdsource the mood of the day. I'm Maria Ressa. As we say at Rappler, tomorrow begins today.